Welcome to the Yankee Weekend podcast, where we talk things all Yankee and sports related content. My name is Tita Coom, along with Frank Crespo. We are two Puerto Ricans from the city of New York that likes all things New York. So, for today's podcast, we'll be talking about the ending of Team USA versus Team Venezuela, the ending of the World Baseball Classic, along with the preparation for the regular season that starts on Wednesday. So when this episode will release, the first game will probably be held that day. So it is worth tuning into. And of course, how are we doing with our roster? Are we making changes? Are we adding? Are we deleting? Who's gonna be the star player? Is it gonna be Captain Clutch? Or is it gonna be Jason Dominguez? Is he even on our roster anymore? We'll find out right now. But first, let's talk about the World Baseball Classic, and it has sadly come to a close. And this World Baseball Classic is probably the best World Baseball Classic since 2017, which isn't really saying much. If anything, I feel 2026 World Baseball Classic was better than 2023's World Baseball Classic. Um, and this year we had a lot of upsets, a lot of surprising upsets. We had Team Italy taking down Team PR, which was a dagger to our hearts.
Yeah.
We had Team Venezuela with an upset for the ages, winning the entire thing. And shout out to them. They deserved it. They knew what they were doing and they found a way around every single team. Well, almost every single team. I think they lost like maybe 1 or 2 games. But that was a huge accomplishment. And for Team USA, that was a doozy. They lost the same score. They lost the same score that they had to Japan from last year, and I felt like last year was a bit more respectable. This year was just a lot more stupid. This was a worse outcome that could have happened for Team USA. Team USA had everything, and they could not beat Team Venezuela. Frankie, what are your thoughts?
On the World Baseball Classic, let me see. Well, the first thing is Team USA um got exposed, obviously, the whole tournament. Like, I think every team knew that if you had good pitching, that Team USA couldn't score. Um they couldn't get into an offensive mindset at all. Um you had a lot of players who couldn't hit the whole tournament. Um you know, the very few clutch moments for Team USA, uh, probably just between Gunnar and Bryce Harper. Um, like, and from the pitching staff really carried Team USA in my opinion. This World Baseball Classic. Um, so yeah, no, it's really just sort of just crazy to see like Team USA. I mean, they were kind of set up for failure in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of players who made this roster who I don't know if they make the roster last World Baseball Classic. Um, the first thing that shoots to mind is like Trey Turner was like kind of that guy for Team USA last time around, and he obviously he didn't make the team, and I understand because he's an older player, but he still had a great season, and it's still shocking to me that he didn't even get it. I don't even think he got an invite. Um, and I'm glad Bobby Witt was on this team. I'm glad Gunnar was on this team,
Yeah.
but you almost think like there was a space maybe for Trey Turner to possibly get into here, and he didn't, sadly. Um, you know, um, players to blame for Team USA's failure. Like, if you want a hit list, this is like the hit list. Like Alex Bregman, he didn't hit, only played defense, which is great. But guess what? Gunnar plays defense and he hits. So there you go. That's the first guy. Um, the AL MVP runner-up, Kyle Raleigh. What happened? He didn't hit at all.
They didn't even play him.
No, because he doesn't hit. He doesn't hit. And you have Will Smith. At least he gets, at least he makes contact on the ball. He's not gonna whiff every single time. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's another guy to blame. Here's another guy, center fielder, Byron Buxton. Blame him again. That's another guy. I mean, I understand not wanting to play PCA against lefties, but at least he's most likely going to make contact on the ball. Buxton just, anyways, I mean, am I gonna say it? I have to kind of say it.
Who you
Judge
got?
is another guy. Like
Captain
he made
Clutch. Captain Clutch.
Captain Clutch. But yeah, I mean, he really. I mean, besides the first few games for Team USA, he really didn't bring much to the table offensively. Again, I'm not gonna say anything bad about his defense. His defense was amazing this tournament, and really makes me prompt. Like, it really makes me hope that I think Judge could win a Gold Glove this regular season, if he
Mhm.
continues to play and he plays every day at right field, or at least somewhere in the outfield. Um, so I would be really excited for that. But, Judge just couldn't hit. A lot of the clutch moments, he didn't come through. Um, I mean, is there anybody? I mean, Bryce Harper went through his struggles, but at least he tied the game at one point.
Yeah.
He made it competitive in the finals. Um, and no one's gonna forget that Bryce Harper was the number one prospect in baseball. And he lives up to the big moments. For the most part, and he proved it there. So shout out to Bryce Harper. He's always doing his thing. And then, uh, who else was there? I mean, Goldschmidt didn't play this whole tournament. So what was the point of bringing Goldschmidt into this team? You
Probably
know,
veteran morale.
I
But
mean,
even then, like, there's so many veterans on the team. What's the point on like placing Goldschmidt there? I think Goldschmidt was supposed to be like the backup. If like the worst case scenario happened and like there was an injury, and Goldschmidt would be kind of that like replacement. But even then, like, would he be a good position or second or third, a shortstop? Anything can happen. Anything can happen when it comes to injuries. So, where to place him, an older fellow like him, I don't. I didn't really see the. I thought it was an interesting choice to bring him on the team, but like looking back, I'm like, that was a questionable choice. We could have had a little bit of a younger fellow. We could have had Trey Turner in the end of the day.
um, yeah, but here's the thing too. Again, I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it in last episode or I mentioned it in conversation somewhere. Pete Alonso didn't get an invite to this team. Now, we see that Pete Alonso hasn't been really too successful in spring training, but this is different. Like when you play for your country, this is different. Like the vibes are different and you're gonna play differently. So Pete Alonso didn't get an invite. Actually, I believe he only got an invite from Team Italy. And Pete Alonso played for Team USA last time, and he was pretty freaking good. So it really shocks me that Goldschmidt makes the team. Doesn't really play a game. I think he got in defensively. Um, even though Bryce Harper's like, I mean, he's an athlete. He plays first base like pretty well. I mean, Bryce Harper went through offensive struggles, and they still didn't put in Goldschmidt. So what does that tell you about Goldschmidt being there? That he's not really there to hit. So if he's not there to hit, and
And
Bryce Harper's,
what's
a
the point,
defense,
right?
yeah, I don't again, which is why it's like, why not have another first baseman who does hit? Is there no or at least an infielder that hits that could play first base? Uh, you know, um, like why wasn't Pete Alonso on this team? I really don't understand. But the biggest thing about Team USA is gonna be like Mark DeRosa. Mark DeRosa was probably, you know, he made the biggest mistake out of anybody on that team. I mean, sometimes you're not going to hit. I understand. But managing doesn't change. Managing is pretty stagnant, in a certain way. And I was hoping you could tell me about Mark DeRosa.
Yeah, it was really disappointing because I didn't when 2023 I didn't remember Mark DeRosa being this fucking stupid. Um the first time around there was the whole thing where it's like he thought that they thought that they made it in when they didn't make it in. So literally their season was on a thread with Mexico and Italy against each other. And then this time around the coaching wasn't really the best. He made a lot of mistakes with the coaching. And arguably, in my opinion, and I have a bone to pick about this one, is the bottom of the top of the knife. It's 2-2. Um, and he puts in Garrett Whitlock over Mason Miller. And for what he told us, it was about the Padres were like, oh, we don't want Mason Miller to pitch unless if it's a really, really big save opportunity. And you know what I would say if I was Mark DeRosa, Frankie?
Yeah, please tell me.
Fine me. I'm putting him in. And it's like, what's the point of putting in your players to play for Team USA if you're going to restrict him, right? I feel like in a save scenario, in a closing scenario, this is a not only just a dream scenario. This is an important inning that I would have Mason 100-mile-per-hour Miller throwing in there. And Garrett Whitlock, he's an okay pitcher. He's a good pitcher. His stats looked all right before he gave up that run. But even then, I would rather go to an ace rather than Garrett Whitlock, right? Or even somebody else like Bednar I would even put in. Bednar did great the other day. I understand that Bednar put in a little bit more pitches that were not questionable, but like if you watch the Team DR versus Team USA game, he got hit a little bit around, almost gave up a run, but it was get out of the inning. So I understand not putting Bednar in, but not Mason Miller. So that was the big thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, Team USA is gonna look for another manager next time around. The first guy that came to mind for me is okay, so Team USA doesn't know how to hit anymore. So this is what you do, right? You get a manager who used to be a great hitter, and there's a guy like that right now. His name is Donnie Baseball, and he's a hitting coach. So I don't know. Maybe you give him the invite. Maybe he could manage Team USA. Shout out Yankees.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe yeah, because you look at the other successful teams during this tournament, and a lot of the help comes from former players. Um, guess who was the Team USA pitching staff coach?
Who was it?
Andy Pettit.
Andy
Andy
Pettit. Yeah.
Pettit. So, and guess how good the pitching was this time around?
I mean,
Amazing.
it was electric. Everybody did their part, and that was another thing. It was like the pitching was so dominant. It was just the hitting could not respond. You know what I mean? It was just like we had great hitting, we had great pitching, but not great hitting. That was a and that was the factor that played into the loss against Team Venezuela.
Yeah, because Team Venezuela, I mean, again, watching them win was amazing. Getting to see all these players, it was just too much. It was really fun. Like the
Hmm.
final was really good. Um, it's really good, exciting baseball. Seeing Salvi, seeing Ezekiel Tovar, Michael Garcia, getting to see Miggy again,
Yeah.
and he's crying because like it's not just about winning. It's about representing your country, and
It's
it's beautiful, and it's nice to see also, um, because Miggy, besides his one chip when he was young, like he never really had that championship feeling. He never really got that close again.
Yeah. Well, no, he made the World Series with the Tigers, but I understand what you're saying, right?
To win it all. This is the biggest win it
Oh,
all moment he's
yes.
had
Yes, yes,
in
yes,
his
yes, yes.
maturity. That's what I'm referring to. Yeah, he did make it to the World Series with the Tigers. Just to pull it to go all the way again. This is
Yes.
a big thing, and no, like everybody loves Miguel Cabrera, and people are gonna add this to his sort of legendary status. The
Right.
fact that he was here, that he was a support in this team, and I think it's just great, and I just hope to see Team Venezuela play again next time around, and maybe they have some sort of similar success also.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait 4 years because they're going to the 4-year schedule.
Yep.
Um, so it's gonna be a little bit of a, but I honestly like the 3-year schedule better. But I kind of understand why they don't want to do it. But the World Baseball Classic is just such a successful event. I'd rather just stick with the 3 years and going back to 4 years.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, just to see the teams play each other more often. Um, I still believe. I mean, I heard some talks that they wanted to move the World Baseball Classic to the middle of the season, like during like the All Star break. Um,
Yeah,
but I'm like, nah, I don't think so, because like injury risk and the fact that like players are already sort of in midseason form, and hopefully you're doing well. You don't
mhm,
want to just then switch over, and then you're gonna face guys that you're not gonna see. Like if you're
yeah.
playing, team Chinese Taipei or Taipei, whatever.
Taipei,
Taipei, there you go. You know.
which is technically Taiwan, but Taipei, yes.
Right, exactly. So you pick and choose which one you want. I wanted to say Taiwan, but whatever. We support China here.
Yeah,
And then not really, by the way, just that's a joke. But or Czechoslovakia, like, like Team Czech, the Czech Republic, like why do you want to see, this guy who's gonna throw and then you're never gonna see him again?
yeah,
So it's really just keep it early, keep it during spring training. Um
yeah.
or I even saw they should do it during Winter League. Like instead of
Hmm.
league that they have that tournament instead, which actually I'm not against. It just depends because I think Team USA players are not going to want to play during winter ball. You
Yeah, I
know.
think it's much better just to have it during spring. I think it's different for other sports. Like the first thing that comes to mind for me is hockey, because hockey just had the Olympics during the regular season, and then before that they did the Four Nations tournament um last year, and it's a risk. Again, it's a risk because another thing too is that a lot of baseball players get injured during the
Yeah.
regular season. It's a lot more common to get injuries. I mean, it's common to get injuries during hockey. Hell, some hockey players play through their injury, but a lot of regular players during baseball often get injured, right? So it's much better to just do it before the regular season than to do it during the regular season. So that way, and also another thing is that if you're injured during the spring season, then you'll have more of a chance to recover during the regular season and make it in time for the late to postseason area.
Yeah. So exactly. The World Baseball Classic was amazing, and I'm just happy to see teams, do well overall. And I am hoping for next time, especially for Team PR, that we get to see a more complete roster, more success, and I'm just still happy with the performances from all the teams. Really, it
Yeah.
was great. It was great.
Yeah. Every team, honestly, they put so much love into like just trying to win a game, right? Like um Team Korea stuck out to me the most because of like so much heart they put into winning, right?
Hmm.
And same thing for Chinese Taipei and all those other teams, except for Brazil. I don't think Brazil won a game. So, um,
Yeah, I think. And Great Britain also, I don't think won a game.
yeah. Well, that's because Jazz Chisholm talks a lot. Well, no, they play. Well, they beat Brazil. I remember that. But that's
So
also
they did
because
win a game.
yeah, they did win a game.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
also because Jazz Chisholm likes to talk a lot of shit and doesn't own up to
And
when
then
he's
it and
wrong.
then it hit at all during the tournament. So,
No,
oh.
but
um, was
that
there? Yes,
That's our boy over there, I
yeah.
guess.
Hopefully he comes like into spring training and he's ready. Hopefully he's hitting during the regular season. That's all that matters.
He
For the
will.
Yankees.
Oh,
But
he will. He will.
I hope so. And
Mhm.
hopefully he's not. It's not like I want to see him hit like 270. Like at least like that should be his batting average.
I think that would be his batting average. I think he had something similar last year. Did he? Let me look. He had an average of 242. So yeah, I think he'll have a little bit something higher.
I hope it's higher. Yeah, because I mean 242. Like I don't know, it's kind of an ugly number. Like I understand like batting average is not the same as it was, but I feel like there's a lot of times where Jazz just it was just ugly to watch some of these players because they would just strike out, and not make contact at all.
Mhm.
Uh, Again, the games that I went to, like it was so nice to see some of the players, but when I went to the Red Sox game, Jazz is up there. There's a runner on second, and then he just like goes down on three pitches. Like and he doesn't
Yeah.
make contact with any of them. Like it's just ugly. So I'm just hoping for better for Jazz because I like Jazz. I was one of the OG Jazz believers when he was on the Marlins. And I was like, oh, so
Mhm.
this guy's he's an athlete. He plays center field. He plays shortstop. He plays second base. He plays
Yeah.
third. And then he said second base is his natural position. I said, okay, perfect. The Yankees need that. So, um, I just hope that he continues to have success early with the Yankees. So,
I mean, time will tell with Jazz. The same boat with you. Like I always thought that Jazz was a good player. He's great. He's great, especially on the speed department. Did I think he deserved to be on the cover of MLB The Show 23? Not really, but like he's had such a decent, good career. So hopefully, this is the year where he'll finally break out. And like, what was his goal that he said he wanted to go like 40, something like that?
yeah, or like a 50-50 season or something outrageous.
But
Um,
best of luck to him, right?
yeah, exactly. But so when we get into the Yankees, I mean, spring training's about to end.
Hmm.
The regular season's around the corner. Matter of fact, this Wednesday coming is Giants versus Yankees as the MLB opener, which is
Wow.
on Netflix, by the way. So, uh, I think that's a little weird. I don't know if you could watch it. I don't think you're able to watch it on like Fox or anything like that. I don't even know if the Yes Network is even gonna have it. So,
No, I think then yes, next I said next work. Network is going to host it the next day after.
right, yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's what I'm like. The first game, you gotta have Netflix. But it's all right, I guess. I mean, most people have Netflix, but um, yeah. So as spring training comes to a close, basically you'll see that the teams are basically getting into their final forms, and so there's a few players who didn't get in, that you're hoping that gets in. So the teams are basically getting into their final form and there's a lot of moves happening right now, and it's a topic of discussion really. Some of these moves between George Lombard Jr., Carlos Lagrange, and Jason Dominguez, which are the three biggest moves this spring training because they're all not being called up. They're all going to start in uh, either AAA or AA. Oswaldo Cabrera starting in AAA. Okay, so I know why. I understand why. So I can definitely see why. And we'll be able to talk about that. But yeah, so the biggest thing I think is gonna be basically and also Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones also. Which is so crazy to say, honestly. But um so the biggest thing for me is gonna be uh, so who is gonna get called up next? Because I know we're gonna need another outfielder. As far as I'm concerned, so it's gonna be interesting to see who gets called up. Obviously everybody wants to see Spencer Jones play, but we can't force the Yankees to play Spencer Jones. So if they feel like he's not ready, then I guess he's not ready. But they're still gonna need another outfielder. And I'm really interested to see like who do you think is gonna get called up first between those names?
Probably Spencer Jones. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think everybody wants to see everybody and their mother wants to see Spencer Jones, but It's kind of going to be a toss up between Dominguez and Cabrera, just because we know that they're good hitters and we know that they're capable of being onto the lineup. Um, Especially for Jason Dominguez, with that quote unquote expensive mistake for giving him $5.1 million up front as a 17-year-old and not really developing too much into him. So it's interesting. It's interesting how they're going to move up with this roster. I mean, everybody knew that Oswaldo Cabrera was never going to really get playing time over McMahon at third, just because he came back from injury. So it's opening the door for new opportunities when we're in quote unquote win now mode, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, um, what I'll tell you, the difference between Cabrera and Ronnie McMahon is that Cabrera used to actually hit, and McMahon never hit. So I'd be interested to see if eventually, when the Yankees get tired of McMahon striking out or not getting any good results,
Mm-hmm.
when are they going to be like, oh, okay, it's time to get somebody else in that position? Because the reason why Cabrera's not obviously starting or not in the 40-man roster is because he's coming off an injury. He didn't get to play spring training really, so he's gonna have to get reps in. And AAA is perfect for that because I think he's gonna get called up quickly, and I think he's gonna get that transition is gonna be smooth, right? Um, so for third base, you have um, Ahmed Rosario is gonna be most likely the other third baseman since he's a righty
Mm-hmm.
and he's a defensive not a defensive replacement, but you could play him there like a pinch hitter. If you need to take out McMahon because he's not gonna hit, so you got to put in a guy who is gonna hit. Um, you know, um, Jose Caballero, like you're gonna see him. I
Yeah,
mean, possibly play third base also. Uh, the biggest thing with shortstop right now is like since he's the shortstop, since that's gonna be your guy at shortstop, then you have nobody else. You know,
Cabrera can't
I
play
would
shortstop.
no Cabrera can, but he's starting in AAA. He's gonna be hurt,
Oh well, yeah, then
and you're not gonna play him at shortstop because he just came off an injury. If he's gonna come in and play any position at all, he's most likely gonna be playing. He would have to play. Well, you have Goldschmidt for that reason, but he'd be playing first base or even second, which means Jazz would have to move to another position. And obviously, if Jazz is gonna be, I don't play any of the positions. I want to play second. Then you can't move him.
yeah.
Um, just you have to play him at a position that's not so it's gonna strain his body. You know. So the other thing is gonna be basically like the news with this guy Grisham is that Grisham has been terrible this spring training. Obviously, bad spring training doesn't mean you're gonna have a bad regular season, but it's just interesting for me to see because if Grisham doesn't play well, you need another outfielder. You're either gonna call up Dominguez, who had a great spring training, right? He could definitely play. Uh, I mean, I don't know why they don't just let him play center field if he is a natural center fielder.
Right.
Um, so it'd be interesting to see that. And then obviously Spencer Jones is a great outfielder also. He could definitely play center field. Um, and then I also brought up to Duke Ellis. I know you don't know much that you didn't get to really see Duke Ellis, which I understand completely, but um, I think he's an interesting case. I think he's somebody that's kind of getting slept on this spring training. Obviously, like sure, yeah, he obviously needs to make that next step, in his development.
Correct.
But man, he could play defense. Like he just makes play after play after play. So I'm really interested to see um, if he can make his next offensive
Yeah.
evolution.
I'm,
But yeah,
I mean, I'm looking here, and his defense looks reliable for the most part, and that'll be probably another call up that we might see just for the defensive mindset. But also, my biggest thing about how we're folding up this roster is don't put Ryan McMahon at shortstop because he can't play short. Keep him at
no,
third and figure it out a way.
yeah, no, I mean, Oh my God, Yankee shortstop. I'm still thinking about Didi. Why can't we get Didi at
Oh
shortstop? I
man,
mean, I think that's something that we can do.
yeah.
Let's see, let's talk. Let's have a
I
conversation,
don't
right?
I don't
But
think Didi
um,
wants to play for the Yankees anymore. I think he's done with
I
everything.
I don't know. I just miss having somebody who's really good at shortstop. Like that's at least somebody who used to be a plus at shortstop.
Yeah.
So it's just I long for those days. I'm really hoping that Lombard becomes something special. I hope he has a great time in AAA, or I'm not sure if he's starting AAA. He might still be at Double A. I know he went to AAA. He was hitting 240. Um, so I don't know if he's gonna start there or he's gonna basically move his way back up. Um, so it'd be really interesting to see. And I know even the Yankees have talked about possibly trading for a shortstop. I don't know who they'd be looking for. Probably an older shortstop. Oh well, DeYoung, Paul DeYoung has been getting reps at shortstop also. I don't think he made the roster. I think he's gonna be a free agent. He was one of those type deals with the Yankees. So if he doesn't get picked up, the Yankees could still pick him up. Um, and I'll be interested to see if he ends up playing shortstop with the Yankees. He wasn't too bad. He wasn't too bad. But he's not going to be your starter. Like I don't want him to be your starter at all.
Correct.
Um, but yeah, I think the most controversial. I mean, this is all controversial. Every move with the Yankees is controversial. But Lagrange not making the 40-man roster is kind of crazy considering the fact that he just had a great time in the offseason and he just seems like somebody who's going to be so reliable for you and you need another starter. And with Luis Hill having his struggles also, uh you're like, why isn't this guy getting his shot? Especially since we know the Yankees will give young pitchers a shot, aka Clark Schmidt, Will Warren, Luis Hill, and Cam Schlittler. So it's like, why isn't Lagrange getting his shot when
Correct.
he seems to be that pitcher that you need at this moment? Um, so I'm really interested to see like when are the Yankees gonna make another move? It's gonna be early too. I
Right.
guarantee.
Right. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in that too. He had a really good year with the Yankees. Well, not a really good year, but like he had a really good spring training with the Yankees, and he's a good prospect. I mean, he was regularly throwing fastballs at like the hundreds, which is not normal for a prospect. I mean, it's normal if you find a prospect in like Dominican Republic, like a 13-year-old throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, because they're built different over there. But like for him being 6'7", 6'7", and being able to throw in that kind of velocity is just out of this world. And honestly, I hope that we do maybe get to see him at some point. I don't wish injuries on anybody, but if somebody goes down, I would like to see him maybe throw the ball a few times, see if he's able to really find his mark with the team, and maybe we'll get like a little bit of a Cam Schindler type thing, or it could all blow up in the face. And that's the beauty of baseball. You never know what pieces will work, so you just have to kind of mix and match and find out what can work, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm really excited for this off season to end. Basically, get into the regular season. Um, you know, um, I guess sort of the last thing I wanted to say personally was really just to make sure that Judge has said that he wants to put all his focus into winning a World Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're doing that, then I want to see the Yankees do everything in their power to win every single game.
Right.
Every single game. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want games to be a throwaway. I don't want to lose a game because the guy that you threw in at the seventh gave up 3 runs.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see holds blown. I don't want to see saves blown. I don't want to see guys at the plate not hitting.
Well, Devin Williams is not on the team anymore. We won't. Hopefully, we won't see some of that again.
Yeah, that's Devin Williams. some of the other relievers of yesteryear. Uh, I'm actually interested to see if Luke Weaver is going to have success for the Mets. Um, since he had a really good run with us. So I'm just excited to see Bednar, Duval, those guys really get a lot more reps towards the latter half of the innings. And even I really like we were talking about Tim Hill. Uh, I want to see Tim Hill more.
Yeah.
Like if it's important, like hold, like he's not gonna be a closer, obviously, but if it's a hold, like Tim Hill is just so freaky. I want to see him in, and he's gonna do well. So I'm excited to see that also.
Time will tell. And then also we got Garrett Cole pitching in his first spring training since last year, and it was very brief stint, but he got the job done.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I'd even be looking forward to basically seeing uh a lot of these series. Like I think the Giants is a really good start because the Giants have a good mix of like I don't think Logan Webb is getting the start most likely because he just came off of WBC. So I would have to check. Um, but I think they already announced the starter by the way for the Giants. But um, I think the lineup is going to be
Yeah.
interesting. For the Giants. You have Harrison Bader, Matt Chapman, this guy Devers.
Man, Bader's been everywhere.
Yeah,
Hold
he's on
on,
the
he's on the
Giants.
job.
Yeah. But
Oh my
listen, center
gosh.
field is that position that there's not a lot of great plus like defenders or just pieces in center field, and Bader is one of those guys who are that he's low key a plus. If you give him a chance. So I think the Giants might have somebody who's gonna actually help him out there too. So and yeah, because I think Jung Ho Lee is gonna be playing right field, um, which is cool, nice. You play right field. I don't know who's their left fielder.
Mhm.
Um, and but yeah, so Devers is playing DH in first base. So I'm interested to see. And Devers, the Yankee killer. This is gonna be the first time we're gonna see him play the Yankees in a while. What's felt like a while. Um, so is he still gonna be
Yeah.
the Yankees' daddy? I don't know. Hopefully not. But let's just say I hope McCovey Cove is just for the Yankees, really, during this little series. So I'm excited to see the Yankees play, and I just can't wait.
Yep. Yep. And then after, by the time this episode will come up, that's when the series will start. And then right after that, it's a little bit too early to tell, but then we will play the Marlins. So we had a bit of a struggle with last year with the Marlins. We got swept
So
by
weird.
them, which was like a huge shocker to me. But like, anyways, so we'll see what we'll do against them. And speaking of the Marlins, we got Ryan Weathers that's going to be on our roster. And I don't like a lot of people were like saying on like Twitter and Instagram, like, oh, I can't believe we're actually going to invest in with Ryan Weathers as a starting pitcher. Um, which I don't know. What you have to think about
Um,
that?
I kind of understand it because if you're looking at spring training, um, sure that's one thing, but yeah, Ryan Weathers does have a really like I'm not gonna say bad, but interesting history as a starting pitcher. Um, you know, maybe I could see him more as a reliever, like a long reliever. Um, but
Mhm.
listen, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. Like like every season's a new start, in my opinion. So if they feel like Ryan Weathers is somebody who's gonna be viable as a starting pitcher, then just have that, then let it happen, Um, and I'll be excited to
Yeah,
see, and hopefully, see his success, whenever he gets to play.
yeah. hmm I mean, I said it in the first episode. Expect runs from him. Probably going to give them. But the thing about Weathers is that you know he has bullpen flexibility, and like him and let's say like Will Warren have like remaining options. So we just got to let it play out and see what he's capable of doing in the jungle
Yeah, yeah, the
or the
concrete
Bronx.
jungle.
Yeah,
So I'm I'm
concrete
really
jungle,
excited
baby.
to see. Again, I'm just so excited for the regular season. You know, I can't watch spring training anymore. I don't think it's that exciting anymore. You know, after World Baseball Classic, you know, I'm just
No.
really looking forward to the regular season. Um, so yeah, I'm just hoping for Yankee success. Start off strong, have a great series against the Giants, the Marlins, and I think the A's after. Um, so yeah, so I'm really I'm
Yeah.
pumped.
Yeah, we got a couple games left to play. I think three. Yeah, three. No,
In spring
four
training,
games
yeah.
left to play. In spring training, I think we're second in the Grapefruit League. So, um,
Yeah.
yippee! I guess I don't really, I don't really know. I don't think anybody really cares. But honestly, I think the spring training was very interesting. We got to see a lot of some rookies play, and we got to see some great hitting by some folks. And yeah, overall, I think this is a really good year. This was a really good. It was an interesting year because we didn't make a lot of moves, but we really got to learn more about the players that we're going to be using
Yeah,
more often.
to basically recap spring training, it's just nice to see the future look bright for the most part. It's nice seeing all the young guys play and seem like they're gonna be interesting. To see that they're gonna be hopefully successful in the future. Hopefully we see them for the Yankees. And when they get called up, that hopefully they continue to have the success that they've had in AAA and AA. Um, yeah, so I'm just, you know, spring training was great. Um, and hopefully regular season is just as good.
All right, and with that, thank you very much for watching this week's episode, or rather, listening to this week's episode. Please be sure to like and subscribe and follow for more content. And let's go, Yankees.